Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for coming to the webinar today. My name is Brett Patton. I'm a product manager at Patton Electronics, and I have with me today Jagdeep Sakon. He is the support engineer for the Asia Pacific region. And
Hello, everyone.
yeah, hello. Thank you. Today we're going to be talking about SBCs. We're often asked, why do I need an SBC? What are the benefits? So today we really want to highlight that and talk about how an eSBC being deployed in your network can save you money and give you security for your voice network. When it comes to all IP networks, eSBCs are definitely critical to be used. However, you can see here we do have a pretty standard IP network where you've got your SIP phones and they're connecting to your IP PBX, or they could be connecting directly to a hosted environment where the PBX is being provided by a telephony service provider. And as you can see, everything is doing SIP. It's all the same protocol everywhere. So really, no SBC is needed. Technically, there's no need for an SBC. However, have you thought about security, survivability, or service quality? In terms of security, SIP is the most used protocol. Some of you might be familiar with H.323, which has been used in the past and is still used in some places today, but it's kind of going away. This makes the SIP communications very attractive for hackers or attackers to target it and get into your voice network. On the graph, you can see from 2016, the SIP survey. The amount of attacks has been increasing significantly. Mainly, the attackers are going after toll fraud, which is when someone's able to make phone calls and it goes over your network and you have to pay for it. This results in thousands of dollars being added to your bill for something that you didn't do. Another issue with this, another issue that the attackers target is denial of service, where they're trying to bring down your network through the telephony infrastructure, which can cause you to lose business and lose money. Are you still convinced you have enough security?
I think yes, Brett. So customers or ITSPs, so they can make use of their existing firewalls that can protect hackers from gaining access to my network resources in my LAN network. So what do you say about those firewalls?
Well, I'd say firewalls, yes, they're there and they do provide some security, but from my experience and a lot of the experience of my customers, we've seen that firewalls can actually cause more problems than they solve.
Okay, so but how about the ALG function which help us to secure the voice over IP traffic in a firewall? So the ALG can be a very good functionality there in the firewall.
Yes, SIP LLG, it's a pretty standard feature in most firewalls today. However, in our personal experience at Patton, we were using a firewall and we were experiencing all kinds of different problems even though we were taking advantage of SIP ALG. It was actually causing us to drop calls or for calls to be terminated after about only 30 seconds. So what we had to do was we had to send our voice traffic around the firewall, and for that we used an eSBC. So while firewalls are great, they are not optimized for data traffic. They don't really have enough performance for small voice packets, and they don't support or they don't recognize SIP and RTP traffic. So yes, you have a firewall, but there's still a need for an SBC.
Okay.
Yeah, and in addition to that, your firewall does not have anything built in to protect you from toll fraud. These are just a few things here for your information. Hackers commit toll fraud by hijacking a phone service, placing unauthorized long-distance calls, and in severe cases, they can cause thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars within only a few hours. On average, the amount of toll fraud damages is twice as much as what's caused by credit card fraud. So someone who takes advantage of your credit card and spends money, that's not nearly as damaging as someone who's making long-distance calls all over the world using your network and causing you to have to spend thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. However, with an SBC, you can. There is security available. So within an eSBC, you can protect yourself from becoming a victim. Okay, so again, with toll fraud, the way that the SBC does this is with a back-to-back user agent, which is built into the eSBC, and it separates the voice traffic from the WAN to the LAN. So it basically creates a barrier between the carrier network and the customer network. So instead of with a firewall opening up some ports to allow voice traffic and opening yourself up to vulnerabilities, this is stopped with an eSBC, since the traffic is coming in, being terminated, and then reinitiated to the local network. Another feature that can be used to prevent this is trusted peer, which actually makes the eSBC only allowed to communicate with your ITSP and no one else. And that can be used for many things, including to prevent the denial of service. Another feature that allows you to prevent this is a mechanism that's built in which can actually stop the SIP packet flooding, which is often how the network is overwhelmed and then shuts down and denies service. This device ensures that your voice network stays up and delivers the highest quality and ensures that you don't lose any business or have any downtime. Another topic related to this is survivability. So let's think what happens when you're going about your business, it's a great day, and then all of a sudden outside on the road they're doing some construction and the heavy equipment comes in and they accidentally cut something, it takes down your link. Now what do? So the link is down, you can't make any phone calls, you're not reachable from outside, you're losing business, you're losing money. But the eSBC, if it's installed in your network, can actually prevent that. It makes it so that you are still reachable by having the ability to fail over to a cellular network, having an additional link through the cellular network. So when it fails over, because of some kind of problem with the link to the ITSP, you won't even recognize that the link is down. You'll just be able to continue.
Okay, so
yeah.
So basically, so can I say like this is kind of like in line with the PSTN fallback that we offer on our existing smart node gateways,
yeah,
and which offers the fallback lines here.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very similar to that, but instead of failing over to the PSTN, which we are used to seeing, it's pretty common application, you're actually failing over the cellular network. So this is more of an all IP play, which still offers high availability.
So it's a fallback IP path.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of high availability, that also goes along with quality of service. So Now imagine so you're getting internet from one provider, and your voice service is coming through another provider, which we would call an over-the-top service provider, right? So that leaves you just one thing to take care of, which is the bottleneck, right? So having these two things, it can cause bad voice quality or even cause calls to be dropped in extreme cases. So what can you do? You can implement an eSBC, set up quality of service, and do monitoring. It really ensures that you have quality voice with the SIP trunk or hosted SIP. QoS prioritizes the voice traffic, so you don't have to worry about the bottleneck issue. And you can also do proactive traffic monitoring.
Yeah, so but in some cases, like a customer may have two links, like one for data traffic and the other for voice traffic, and you will not have this issue there. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. If you have the two links or redundant links, you could use one for data traffic and one for voice. That's definitely a legitimate application. However, the eSBC is still a very valuable solution for survivability and security.
Okay, thank you.
Which actually brings us back to our original question. Do you need an eSBC? The answer, as we discussed earlier, is no. Without an eSBC, you can still do phone calls. SIP phones also provide security features. You could get a fiber access link which has huge bandwidth for data and voice. So really, in that case, no QoS would be needed. But SIP phones do not protect against toll fraud, as this is happening in the network. And even with a lot of bandwidth, access link can be saturated with large data file transfers.
And I think here to add, Brett, like if we look at these SIP phones, okay, so even if they have got security, so we might even end up like configuring each and every separate phone on the network. So rather than having an eSBC would just mean that we can configure an eSBC, the security on the eSBC, and that would work for all the phones. So that would actually take away the complexity of configuring security on all IP phones there.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, the SIP phones can be individually configured, and you can set up security features on them. But why do that on 10 different phones, wasting time on the install and adding more complexity to the network when you could simply deploy an eSBC that is going to handle all of your security, all of your quality of service, and provides a much more simpler and easier to maintain, faster deployed service and network. That's correct. So, should you go for an eSBC? I think you probably should. You absolutely should, I'd say. They're very cost effective. They're starting from about $500, and in some cases less than that. With
so basically the choice, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically the choice here is like I can either spend like $500 on an eSBC or I can pay thousands of dollars if I get hacked. So that's what I should be looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, it's much easier to implement a low-cost device in your network for $500 than possibly ignore the issue and then down the road have huge bills that potentially could cripple a small startup business, which nobody wants. We want to promote business. So the SBC, it's the smart choice for the SME. It's cost-effective compared to even other market players like Oracle, Acme, and Cisco. It's also cost-effective compared to a potential hacking situation or denial of service attack or toll fraud. The devices are very reliable, and with the survivability, it adds reliability to your business services for you towards your customers. It gives you interoperability with every major soft switch and IP-PBX. The Patton eSBCs have been in more than 1,000 scenarios, and they've tested and passed all over the globe. We do all of our production ourselves, so we have control of everything from the design up to the manufacturing and the selling and shipping. It's Swiss engineered, so these are very high precision products, and the failure rate, the return rate on these is less than a percentage point. So it's cost effective, it's reliable, and it's going to save you money. Okay. With this, we'd like to take any questions that you guys may have. If you have questions, feel free to fill them in the question section. Jagdeep, do we have anything?
Yes, we have a few questions. So the first one, which is here, is came from Mr. Joshi. So where would this eSBC be placed? So will it be placed after the firewall or before the firewall?
Right. So it depends on your configuration and how your service provider works. But typically, we recommend that you place the SBC beside the firewall and assign it a public IP address so that it causes minimal effort to install and maintain. So it'll basically be handling all of your voice traffic and continue to allow your firewall to handle the data. So I would say place it beside the firewall.
Okay, so can we move on to the next question?
Yep. Any more? Yeah. What's the next one?
Yeah. So we have a few questions here. So the next question is if does this SBC supports transcoding, and if yes, can it transcode between a high definition coder G.722 and a standard coder G.711 ULAW or ALAW? So that's the next question.
Yeah, definitely.
It comes from Mr. Hun. Yeah.
So transcoding is supported. So you can definitely do transcoding. We also support high definition codec, the G722, as was mentioned in the question, and you could transcode that to any lower definition codec. So G711, 729, whatever. It's all supported in the device. Okay, Jagdeep, I think before we take any more questions, we actually have a few questions for the audience. So if you all wouldn't mind, Jagdeep's going to launch the question, and if you could just quickly answer it, that would be great. That would be very helpful.
Sure. So I'll be just launching the first question, everyone. So here's the question. So we have around 1 minute to answer the question. So the question is, do you understand the benefit of an eSBC before the webinar? So just a question to all of you, whether you know about eSBC and whether specifically about the benefits before the webinar. Okay, so we still have around half a minute to go. We have around 60% of the polls. Okay, so I'm just closing this poll now. It's already 1 minute, so we have most of the answers. So good. It looks like most of the people, they know about the SBC before the seminar. So basically, it's a good thing that we are all talking the same language here. Okay, good. So let's just move on to the next question. Okay. So the next question is here on your screens again. So it says, have you experienced any challenges with your all IP implementation? So you have an option to choose any one here. So the first answer is like yes, and you don't know how to solve those challenges. So you have faced some challenges. The second is yes, you initially faced some challenges, but then SBC help you to solve those challenges. Then the third is yes, you had challenges, and from now on an eSBC will be installed. So you're looking at a future of an eSBC installation. And the final is that you don't have any challenges because you have always been using an eSBC. So we have half of the audience still not voted. So we are at 50% voting. So good to see and glad to hear like we have got good answers on this, and most of the people says yes, and they don't know how to solve them. So definitely we will be able to help you with that. So I'm just closing this poll and launching the one of the last questions. So it's the third question, and here you have an option to choose more than one big feature. I mean, which eSBC feature do you consider is most valuable to you? So whether it's a security feature, survivability, the quality of service functionality, or you expect TDM interfaces on the eSBC, or any other. So another 20 seconds to go. So we have 70% voting. Good. So after like 1 minute of voting, so I think most of the people, Brett, like we see the trend is more towards the security features. And I think it's the most important in terms of the eSBC offerings because there's a lot happening there, and there's a need to protect network for the enterprises and from the surprises, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think most of the people agree with what we say, and eSBC, the security feature, is one of the most important feature which people have highlighted. And I have got some responses towards TDM interfaces, which we haven't talked about much, but you can just, if you want to like give some idea on TDM interfaces, yes, you can.
Yeah, yeah, we have a whole suite of SBC products, and we do in fact have some that have additional TDM interfaces, whether it's a PRI or an analog connection with FXS or FXO, or even BRI. So yeah, we do have those options available as well. Okay, I think we got time for maybe one more question. Is there anything left?
Yes, we have a few questions, but somebody says, like Deepak says that he's using this webinar and lost a few minutes initially from the webinar. So if we can get a list. Okay, this came from like Max as well, Mr. Max. So he says that if he can get a copy of the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, after this webinar, you'll be receiving a follow-up email, which will include this presentation as well as a link to our website where you'll be able to watch the full recording again. If maybe I spoke too quickly or there was a connection issue, you'll be able to watch it and get all of the information you need. Okay, I think that's about it.
Yes, that's it for now. So in case if there is any question, guys, like you can either like email me. So you have my email address is jseco@patton.com, or you can even reach Brett at patton.com, or You all know my end, Brett's email address. So that's it for now. So, and we have some few more questions, but we will try to answer it just after this session. And we will also be sharing the presentation as what Brett has mentioned. So, Brett, anything from your side to add?
Nope, that's it. Let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for coming today and listening to us from Patton about the importance of SBCs, and hope to talk to you all again soon on another webinar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Bye.